Good evening. Thanks for looking in tonight. I'm Morella Porter. We're glad you chose Fox 10 News. Days after Governor Kay Ivey urged school systems across the state to prepare for a return to in-person learning, we're talking to Alabama's top education leader, Superintendent Eric Mackey, about their hopes for 2021. Navigating the COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Kay Ivey and Superintendent Eric Mackey hoping to get students across Alabama back on a familiar path as soon as January 2021.
It could be, we hope, in January, February, March.
Dr. Mackey says it's all dependent on how the pandemic pans out, but it's a race against the clock, fearing some kids are slipping through the cracks.
We are very concerned about learning loss at least for the students who are not enrolled in school as far as we know.
Dr. Mackey says more than 9,700 fewer students were enrolled statewide this school year compared to last. He says it's possible some are being homeschooled or put in private school, but that's not the case for all.
What we found is the vast majority just did not go to school the first 9 weeks, and that is very concerning to us.
While some educators are excelling in the virtual realm, it has not been ideal across the board.
It's a learning curve. They're having to learn, and so they're having a more difficult time delivering instruction virtually than in person.
At this point, remote learning has been key for some school districts trying to get a grip on COVID. In Baldwin County, Superintendent Eddie Tyler considering delaying students' physical return to school by a week following Christmas break, spending it online instead, averting a potential COVID crisis. While Mobile County Public Schools say they have a flexible plan to move completely to remote learning if needed, monitoring COVID numbers closely. Despite their push for in-person learning, Dr. Mackey says ultimately it remains a local decision.
There's no move for us to remove local control from those superintendents. We just are encouraging them and working with them as best we can to get everybody back in the classroom.
Superintendent Mackey says for the most part, transmission levels at schools across the state have remained fairly low. Of course, he says children's health is a major concern, and there's no question that many parents will choose virtual learning in 2021. He says that will remain an option, leaving any changes up to local school leaders. Mobile Fire Rescue investigating a fire on Lloyd's Lane. Firefighters say they saw heavy smoke coming from the building when they arrived on scene this morning. Fortunately, nobody was reported injured. Fox 10 News is working to get more information. A terrible tragedy in Jackson, Alabama leaves one young man dead and his friend charged in his death. Jackson Police Chief Jerry Taylor tells Fox 10 News 20-year-olds Gordon Colby Marks and Daniel Merritt were in a vehicle last night around 8:30 when there was some gunplay. According to Chief Taylor, the gun went off and killed Merritt. Marks owned the gun and is now charged with manslaughter and possession of a pistol without a permit. Chief Taylor says the two were college roommates and home on break. It's believed alcohol was involved. The investigation is ongoing. Family and friends remembering Tavon Holder today, more than a week after the 19-year-old was shot and killed on Thanksgiving in Theodore. A balloon release held in his honor in Tillman's Corner this afternoon. Police say his death was connected to a drug deal. Two 17-year-olds have been arrested and charged with murder. Tavon's mother, Natasha Miles, saying today was all about celebrating his life.
We see so many balloon release all the time on sad occasions, but today we were able to celebrate his life, during the services. But this right here was healing for me. This is where my healing point starts. And so I think this is important for me and everyone who supported us.
Tavon Holder had enlisted in the Army as an engineer earlier this year and was planning to attend the University of Kansas. States are finalizing their plans to receive COVID-19 vaccines, but distribution remains a few months away. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan with more on the story.
Friday was the last day for states to get their pre-orders in for the first vaccine shipments. Health officials and at-risk individuals are slated to be the first in line. But with most of the public still a few months away from being vaccinated, state and local leaders are trying to get ahead of what appears to be a new nationwide outbreak of the virus.
The vaccine's not going to be here in time to control the second wave. So what we're stuck with is what we've been doing.
That's led to a new round of restrictions in multiple states. New regional lockdowns in California would close most businesses if area ICU capacity falls below 15%.
We are seeing more COVID cases than we've seen in the entire previous 9 months. And there's no end in sight. So I don't believe this is a surge. I believe this is a surge on top of a surge.
While hospitals brace for a new round of cases, optimism is finally building in Washington that lawmakers could pass a second stimulus bill.
Frankly, this thing looked dead a week ago, but since we made our announcement on Tuesday, all of the momentum is headed toward passage.
Some roadblocks still exist, including how much to fund state and local governments, potential liability protections for businesses, and whether or not to issue another round of stimulus checks. Right now, what looks to be included are a renewal in unemployment benefits, which are set to expire, and funding to distribute the vaccine when it becomes available. In New York, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Well, I hope you had yourself a great Saturday. Not a bad day out there for us. And now we're starting to get some showers. Most of the action is offshore, but a few are making their way right down the Panhandle beaches. Some very, very light rain out here for us this evening. Big picture shows a little bit more. You can see the cloud cover. Certainly, it turned gray by this afternoon. We started out with plenty of sunshine. Then the clouds rolled in, and now some showers beginning to roll in behind those clouds here this evening. So futurecast, they don't amount to much tonight. You wake up tomorrow morning, not going to be too bad. Mostly cloudy. There might be a few breaks in there for you tomorrow morning, but we start out fine. So if you got some things to do, run off church or maybe just going out for a walk with the dog, get that done in the morning, because as the day goes along, eventually some showers are going to roll on in. Those will come on in and bring us some rain for the afternoon hours tomorrow on your Sunday. Temperatures out there currently in the low 50s and upper 40s, so it's crisp, but it's not freezing outside here for us this evening. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, yes, it's going to be cool, but not like this morning. This morning we're down in the mid-30s in many spots. Tomorrow morning, low 40s, so not quite as cold for us as we get started on our Sunday. Once again, though, we do anticipate some rain tomorrow afternoon. I'll break that down for you coming up in just a few minutes.